transmuting pain to joy through the blues with Dreamer Denise, Tuesdays 7 to 9 p.m. on the one and only KFUG 101.1 FM and KFUGradio.org.
KFUG Community Radio. Good morning. It is 10:27. Paul Critz with you. And Dreamer Denise, Tuesday night, 7 to 9. Were you in last night, Dreamer Denise?
I was.
How's it going? How's the show going? How you doing?
It's fun. I'm learning how to talk.
You're it's, you know, we take things like talking for granted. It just comes out your mouth, but you put a microphone in front of it and you have to think about it, and all of a sudden it's like... Ugh.
Yeah, I overthink things way too much, which is odd for a blues show. You shouldn't be overthinking anything.
It's the tensest blues show on the radio. What's going to know? So Denise Schnacker isn't in just to talk about her show, Dreaming with Denise, Tuesday nights, 7 to 9 here on KFUG. But also, there was a Facebook page popped up, wanted me to like it, and I look at it, and it wants me to do stuff. And so I was like, what is this? Talk about this page. It's Step Up Del Norte. What's the initiative about?
So the idea is, actually, the page went live in 2017, I think.
Right.
Because a group of my friends who have their fingers in a lot of different organizations were like, oh man, wouldn't it be great to have a clearinghouse of information of all of the places that you can volunteer. And how do you all volunteer? How do you help make Del Norte as resilient and wonderful as it can possibly be?
Because all those things we say about Del Norte and what we want, you can talk about it, just like we said, talk is cheap.
Yep.
But how do you go about making it a reality? That's an interesting idea.
Exactly. And a lot of us, 6 of us, were meeting on a regular basis about other things. You know, how do we make this happen? How do we make this happen? And we realized that we were just walking in circles around, hey, this person's already doing this. For instance, Downtown Divas, they do amazing things for our downtown community. How do they get volunteers? How do they get the word out? And what are they doing? Not everyone knows. We've had so fast forward, we are now year 2, 3, I don't know what year we're in, of a pandemic. And people are coming kind of out of the woodworks as much as they feel safe to do so, and reaching out to me, hey, I'd like to volunteer for the school, which is that's my paid gig. And we have ways for people to now volunteer on site. Got me thinking, hey, Martin Luther King Day of Service is coming up. Then Betty White passed, and her birthday is also on the 17th. What can we do to kind of kick off this idea that if you're ready to start putting back into the community again, here's a place that you can dump your needs and pick something up that someone else has left out, set down.
I mean, so the people that you came up with this idea with. Now, these are I call you guys the usual suspects. Whenever there's like a protest in Del Norte for something right and good, it's you guys standing out there. What's that?
Whenever there's a protest for something right and good, Denise will be there.
Denise will be there. Exactly. So, are these the folks we're talking about who all wanted to be involved?
Yes, and some unusual suspects.
Really?
Okay. So, where a lot of the things that I personally do, the protests, the actions, there are people that we share certain values, and there are some that I don't think we share any, except the need and the want and the desire that where we live can be amazing. Right. And so, there are people on my list of folks that I reach out to, that I talk to specifically for the Step Up Del Norte, that I wouldn't go to anything else with.
Right. No,
but
that's great.
Yeah, and that's what I think makes this really unique possibility. The other piece is that you're kind of on your own merits, whether you want to participate, whether you want to challenge yourself to complete 52 hours of service in the next year. That's 1 hour a week. Or not, is kind of on you, but it's also kind of fun to challenge your friends. Say, hey, I did my hour this week. How about you?
That'd be a fun thing to do if a group of friends come together and let's all volunteer and get out and be a part of something. That's really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I think you sort of alluded to this. So there may be people who want to volunteer, but not everybody's good at everything, right?
Yes.
So I think part of the issue is, how do people get matched who want to contribute volunteer time to appropriate opportunities who are in need of volunteers?
Yeah. So that's probably the most self-driven part of this, is the fact that the idea is people put up what their needs are for their organization. For instance, Del Norte Reads. I know for a fact that the library needs some folks to do that work. I would love it if they would, and I'm in the works of sending out an email to folks saying, hey, will you just give me a little PSA on what your organization needs? How do people volunteer for you? Then the idea is the community will see these needs and say, oh, that kind of fits me. That fits my time. That fits. Or I have some more questions. This is who I contact, which is a huge issue in Del Norte County.
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? I don't know on a lot of things. I think the last number that I had seen on Wild Rivers Community Foundation's updates a couple years ago for nonprofits was over 100 nonprofits in Del Norte and Curry County. And oh my goodness.
Yeah. Of every stripe, doing every conceivable thing.
Every conceivable thing, Resilient Del Norte, Tobacco Free Del Norte, all of these things need people.
Well, and there are boards and commissions related to county and city government that are also filled by people who are volunteers. I mean, there's a little bit more of an appointment process.
Right.
But I know that some of these seats on boards, that some of them very important, often go unfilled.
Yes, and that's it. I think
I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt. That's a really interesting thing to throw in there, along with community organizations. But like the commissions that have like representatives from the public that are basically, you volunteer, you apply, but you're not getting paid for anything, and you basically are there to volunteer. That's an interesting sort of correlation to make.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and community service and public service. They're hand in hand. It's how do you get to that point of being in service to your community? Because my personal belief is that being in service is what my goal is in life. I think that's why I was put on this earth, is to serve others and to allow others to serve me at times. So, how do we do that?
Yeah. So if you're an organization, I don't know, like say a community radio station, and you have volunteer opportunities, is it just a matter of making a post on the Facebook page? Is that the workflow that you have in mind then?
That is, because I need this to be as you mentioned before, I do a lot of things. I've taken some things off my plate just for my own sanity. I need it to be as self-driven as possible, which means you post your thing, you reach out, you make the connections.
Right.
But we do need people to post, what do you need?
Okay.
Or what services, what skills do you have that you think might serve our community?
Okay.
If you are a dog, if you have extra time and you just want to walk some dogs, and maybe working with a humane society or maybe that doesn't work for you and you just want to walk somebody else's dogs, put it out there. If you've got skills doing that kind of thing, if you've got ideas, put it out there.
I mean, I think this is a fantastic thing. And at the same time, there's a part of me that's going, why isn't there some organization that's already doing this with like a funded kind of position or something? Because there are so many needs in this community, so many, as you stated, nonprofits that are desperate for volunteer time and energy. It would almost seem to me that somebody with some time would have said, oh, we should probably have a central clearinghouse for this and pay somebody to actually do it. Right.
Yeah, because it would be time well spent to have somebody in a position who is just, their job is to go and to research this stuff, contact all these organizations, list everything in some sort of clearinghouse like this.
I'd be curious what the Nonprofit Alliance is up to then.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah, and okay. So what I know about the Nonprofit Alliance is that
I also don't know what the Nonprofit Alliance does.
they're supposed to help nonprofits. That's why
Right.
they're here. They help nonprofits in all sorts of things. And how beyond that, I don't know because I never go to the meetings. But we're a part of it. But I look at it and I go, I don't have time to sit through this. I don't know if this is going to apply to what I need to know.
But and you know what? And my guess is just what you just said is repeated over and over and over in the majority of nonprofits in this area. Yes, I would love to dedicate time to this, but I'm so busy just trying to get through today.
I'm not looking to make friends and to hang out and with nonprofits. I have a specific question about taxes. I have a specific question about interacting with the state. You know, things like that. It's very much like, here's my issue. What do you know? But I never get that sense from and I would love to hang out with Carrie Mosey because she's running.
Great. Yes.
She's fantastic.
Yes, she is.
But yeah, it's a little. I haven't stepped over that broom.
Yeah. But I do. I think so many people are so under the gun just trying to achieve the daily mission that the idea of, one more thing that I have to do because now I'm going to have to put all this work into like trying to find volunteers.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not only find them, but sometimes training them, finding out, are they a good fit? Are they not? So wouldn't it be beautiful? I mean, we've talked about this in the Resilient Del Norte group for years about having almost like a coalition of sorts where all of the nonprofits, everyone that might need this service, put in a little bit in the kitty and they do a job for everyone. Of organizing volunteers, of vetting them, maybe getting them training. Yeah, we've talked about it forever, but until, and I'm a true believer that modeling what you want to see happen is, that's kind of a way, especially here in rural America, people don't necessarily think big.
You don't find that just bitching about it enough changes things?
No, yeah.
I may have to change my tack then.
Me too, right? Well, and I was a bitcher for quite a while,
Okay, all right.
as the actions and protests said. And then I kind of took a turn. Maybe it happened around 50 years old. I wonder what that's about.
Really? Seriously? So no, help me out here. So what sort of transition?
Midlife bitch crisis.
Is that what? It's like, night when you wake up, what have I been doing?
Right?
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Have I been hurting? Have I been helping? No, that's well, and that's it.
If that's how you restock, how you take stock of your life rather and examine it, and that's the conclusion you come to, then great, more power to you.
Yeah. And that's me personally, but I think. Well, and I do tend to hang out with people that are my own age, sometimes younger people, but right now, at this time, I've got to get into action. I've been, I didn't get to sequester for 2 years. I've been on the front lines with students, but with children. But I'm even more ready to be with my community, to start doing things. And I'm wondering how many people, how many organizations, how many places survived.
Right.
How many are going to be ready for volunteers? Are, even if you put yourself out there, who's ready? And maybe this challenge, 52 hours and 52 weeks.
Now, okay. Let's talk specifically about that because that's right in the About page and that's right there at the top of the Facebook page. But a very specific challenge, and it's simple.
Yeah.
It's a simple challenge. Tell the folks about that.
52 hours, 52 weeks, 4 hours a month. Or one of my friends mentioned, what about people that maybe don't have the mobility to get out and do things or can't access internet or whatever to do that piece of it? And I said, maybe they figure out how much their time is worth, multiply that times 52 and give it to an organization or multiple organizations.
Oh, that's an interesting
right?
thing. Yeah.
That idea that your time is money, money is time.
Wow.
What
your treasure time, what can you give?
I've never thought about that. That's a great sort of trade to make. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, we were talking a little bit off mic about, the great resignation, and that's something that's really been coming up a lot. And I'm wondering, Denise, if part of the impetus for trying to do this now has to do with that fact that there are a lot of people who are sort of reevaluating, as a result of everything that's gone on with the pandemic. Not that they're going to quit and become a full-time volunteer, but just sort of, looking at their life over the last couple of years and going, this isn't working for
exactly.
me.
Right.
I need to do something else.
Yeah.
Just like turning 50.
Just like
exactly.
And
our community has turned 21.
And that this might be a real opportunity for something like this to be successful, where maybe a year or two ago it might have had less of a chance.
Yes, definitely. Well, and there are folks with more free time, if you want to call it that, or and reevaluating. I could even see it leading into, now that you mention that, I could see it leading into, I might find my purpose in my community that would turn into a job, that would turn into a career. Creating, there are places all around the world that have figured out how to create their future out of nothing. And we're kind of at that point right now where we're kind of at nothing. We're at a baseline. Where could we jump off to? Where could we go with ideas? Maybe there's a solar energy, fingers crossed. Maybe there's alternative energies businesses.
Maybe there's a labyrinth made up of solar tiles.
Yes. And some water. How do we get the water in there? Yeah. And that's it. Maybe you don't know what you don't know until you volunteer with someone that has what you think you might need in the future.
10:44 the time. You're tuned to KFUG Community Radio. We are talking with Denise Schnacker from from all sorts of things. It's Dreamin' with Denise. Is that the show? I was talking with Mike before.
Sure.
Is it? Okay, good.
I can't land on anything, but since you said it, I love it.
I was wondering why I hadn't landed on anything, and now I know who to blame it on. Thank you. So blues, it's blues, 7 to 9, but mostly 7 to 9 on Tuesdays, but mostly we're here talking about the Step Up Del Norte. I guess we'll call it an initiative, the challenge.
Yeah, the challenge.
It's a Facebook page, just hoping to get people volunteering and being a part of the community and getting out there and doing things. Have you found in your life of activism and volunteering and out in public, is it easy to find volunteers in Del Norte?
Yes, if there is a relationship already. What I mean by that is if someone has had the time, the opportunity to make a relationship with someone, even if it's just quick and dirty. People in Del Norte especially don't necessarily, in my experience, don't necessarily put themselves out there to volunteer for something, but if you ask, they're the first ones to do it.
Okay.
So you need to have that relationship to ask. First name basis is good.
Yeah, no. That so many things come back to in this little community. Come back to, oh yeah, I know that guy, and he told me this one thing, and I'm just remembering it and putting all the pieces together. Yeah,
exactly.
The interpersonal part is very much a part. Wow.
Whereas in bigger communities that I've lived in, you go look for, I'd like to do this. Oh, there it is, and I show up and help or whatever.
Right.
So.
Interesting. That is very interesting. So you've set this up. Have you just stepped back now and said it's time for this to fly?
Kind of. I am. So the plan is to. So because I have been a part of so many different things over the years, and people have changed. They've gone on to do different things, and maybe certain organizations aren't as active as they have been in the past. Prior to the last 2 years. My plan is to send an email to everyone saying, hey, this challenge is happening. If your organization is ready for volunteers or will be before December, we've got a whole year. Yeah, right now we're looking at when is Omicron going to peak? When is, the next couple of weeks we're a little leery. But spring is coming when we can do things outside, when people are more hopefully more people are vaccinated and feeling more comfortable about getting out there. Let's be prepared. That's another thing I'm really big about, be prepared, not scared. There's Red Cross, there's CERT, there's so many opportunities in our community for a wide variety of people with different backgrounds, different knowledge bases, and we just don't know them all. So we've got a year to figigure it out.
That's fantastic. That's really cool. All right, well, we'll come up. We may get Monique working on this today. We'll come up with a post just about being on the radio and volunteering with KFUG, and we can post that on the Step Up download. I didn't mean to look at you like, go do this. No, it's
for Persephone.
This was yeah.
One more thing. Wait, Monica walked by and now she's okay.
As though I'm not producing this episode.
Exactly.
This is your chance to get an hour of volunteer time.
There's
Come produce this segment for us. Yeah.
I mean, as a young person in this community with little faith in the community, and also being someone who's tried to find interested parties and just seeing them fall flat,
it's tough.
This is a very interesting thing. I'd like to participate in some way. It would be nice to go out and make friends and volunteer at something.
Yes.
Something to make the community a little nicer.
Yep. Well, and we're on our way out. We're 1 foot in the grave, so you guys have got it.
That was a really harsh 50-year-old birthday you had, wasn't it? Wow.
Pandemic birthdays do
Pandemic birthdays, right? Yeah.
That one day, though, people will have like some sort of like retro nostalgia thing where they'll have pandemic themed.
Remember when?
My goodness.
I was born in the wrong era.
I was down for after the first couple of months, when the air cleared and animals started coming back out. Let's shut down a month every year. Let's just take a month off, right?
I've been a big proponent of all-year school just for that reason, because we need like 6 weeks you are learning, you're doing your work, and then 2 to 3 weeks you're taking off. You're doing reset. 3 weeks of reset would be
I have that. I can't. The whole idea, people try to fly that idea when I was a kid, and I'm like, no, 3 months. I need 3 months. I need time to forget everything I learned. Start fresh.
I have to go harvest the summer wheat.
Exactly. Well, Denise, this is a wonderful thing, and we will come up, and not we. Just we will come up with a post and put something here on the page for you and share it around too, because I think this is, of course, anything online, it's nothing unless you get eyes on it.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Well, and it's interesting since I've refurbished this, and I think the Betty White angle of it, I think that we had almost 182 hits in an hour and a half after posting that first challenge, and I'm like, whoa, where are all these people
Wow, nice. And Betty White's
So-
passing might make people want to be better people.
Yes, right.
Right?
Yeah. Make the world better.
Is there anything that you wanted to get to that we didn't get to?
I think you should give the particulars one more time.
Okay.
Yeah. So people challenge your friends, challenge your organization, your businesses. I would, my brain kicks off when I talk.
Okay, what's this?
So what if Board of Supervisors, I could see Chris Howard challenging the rest of the county workers, please get out there and volunteer some time, or city council challenging themselves as well as their employees.
There you go.
Doing it together. You don't have to do this all alone, like stepping out and do it yourself, but an hour a week, read to somebody, take some time and read to a kid.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah. We may need a PSA too that plays just about pointing people to the we'll get right on that.
52 hours sounds like a lot until you break it up.
I really like the idea of like elected leaders
Yes.
volunteering 1 hour a week to lead.
Oh!
Ooh, yes.
I think that would be great.
I'm a true believer in modeling what you want to happen.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, Denise Schnacker, thanks for coming in and sharing with us about
thanks for
Step Up.
having me.
And you can tune in and listen to Denise's shows. It's a 2-hour show. It's 2 hours of blues, Tuesday nights, 7 to 9. Is it Dreamin' with Denise? Is that
It is now.
That's what your promo says, isn't it?
Well, it's Dreamer Denise with blues, and that was lame. I like Dreamin' Denise better.
That's kind of wordy. Yeah. Okay, Dreamin' Denise, 7 to 9
That's
Tuesdays.
why you're the big Big boss.
Can't volunteer this.
Darn.
You can knock off 5 minutes of your time.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you. I get a little.
I'll make a little spreadsheet so you can
this is
start
for
adding
only
it
a little
up.
me
Only
time.
55 minutes to go.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Great. I needed to take care of myself. The 5 minutes will do.
Eat a meal, take a shower.
That's it, exactly. Denise, thank you so very much for
You're
coming in and
welcome.
talking about it.
Thanks,
We'll post
guys.
this and share the word too. Anything else, anybody? All right. Here's some underwriting announcements. We'll get back into the music here shortly. You're tuned to KFUG Community Radio, Community Service, the show.
The American Red Cross is looking for volunteers in Del Norte County. One way that you can volunteer is by becoming a Disaster Action Team member, which are local volunteers responding to local emergencies. When disasters strike, these volunteers are the first from the Red Cross to respond. Most frequently, these volunteers respond to home fires, but they're trained to scale up and meet the needs of their neighbors as a disaster grows. If you're interested in helping your neighbors during disasters, this is a great way to start. Remember, the fastest response is from down the street and not across the country. So what do you need to become a Red Cross volunteer? You must be over 18 years old, able to transport yourself to the incident, and have a working knowledge of compassion, dependability, and empathy. The free online training takes approximately 7 hours. The Red Cross also conducts mentorship and in-person training to all volunteers. For more information, call local disaster program manager Andrew Bogar at 707-237-8481 or email Andrew at andrew.bogar@redcross.org.